Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Reseller Show. My name's Kev Blackburn, and today I am joined by a very special guest, my brother-in-law, Gareth Thomas. And I hope you guys are doing really, really well on episode number, I believe we're on 23 now of the Reseller Show. So every single week we get together on a Monday evening just to talk all things reselling online, whether that's Amazon, whether it's Facebook or eBay or whatever it is. This is just a great show, a laid back show just to talk all things reselling online. So today I'm joined by Gareth. So Gareth's with me today. So it's just one location, which is different. Usually we've got two separate locations, so one location. So you guys that end up joining us, don't hesitate to drop in the chat. But yeah, we'll just start with, who's Gareth?
Yeah, so basically I started on Amazon just after Kev. Kev's obviously part of the family now with myself, dating my sister. And, Kev told me about this experience quite a while ago, back in 2015, about how he started on Amazon and everything. And there's a story about a bar, but that can be told a little bit later. If you've already heard it, you may have done. But basically, that got me to get started on Amazon as well. And then from there, I've grown. I'm now moved into my own 3,000 square foot warehouse. I'm pretty much, we do OA, RA still, wholesale as well. So, looking to see where we can push the business to as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been for me. You guys that been watching regularly on the sort of the weekly show, you've most likely heard us talk or heard me talk about Gareth in the past. You guys that have been to the warehouse and been up here, Gareth always makes an appearance and he meets everybody and says hello. But it's been great for us to myself and Kylie, we've been on our journey, but to see Gareth on his journey as well, it's been really, really good. So if you guys have got any questions whatsoever for Gareth this evening, he does pretty much everything from retail arbitrage to wholesale to online arbitrage. He's out in his warehouse, which is probably about, would you say it's about 10, 15 minutes away from here?
Yeah, not too far, is it? Just up the road, really.
Yeah, so he's got a warehouse just up the road, really. So if you guys have got any questions for Gareth whatsoever, I can see there's Sean in the chat. I hope you're doing really, really well. And Chris is in. Arbitrage Superstars is in. It's great to see you again, Chris. If you guys have got any topics or anything that you want to discuss on the show, don't hesitate to let us know. But some news, just to kick off the show, as always, some news. Andy's still not here, as you know. Andy's going to be back next week. But this weekend, there is the Online Arbitrage Summit. This is the first ever OA Summit that is going to be in Lincoln. So hopefully you guys have got your tickets by now, because it's going to be a great day all around. Myself and Kylie are going to be there from around about, I'm not entirely sure what time we're going to get there, like about 9 a.m. or so, all day with everybody there. There's going to be some great speakers. There's going to be some great insights, I'm sure. So that's going to be really, really awesome. And then the evening is going to be a bit more relaxed, I believe, in terms of just having a drink, getting to know everybody and doing a bit of networking. So that's happening this Saturday. So make sure that you, if you can, do make it there. And also a bit of news from myself. The online arbitrage, the master management sheets 2.0 are being released today. So make sure you check out the my own personal YouTube channel just to check out some demos. It might give you some really good insights on how you can operate your business. So that is that's just a little bit of news there for myself. But good to see you, Simon. I think you're on a bit of a record at this point. I think Simon's been in every single episode, I believe.
Wow.
Every single episode.
Good.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah, Chris is going to you're coming on Saturday as well. So I guess where to start then this evening? Shall we touch a little bit on retail arbitrage? Yeah. Well, I'll pick Gareth's brains a little bit with retail arbitrage. So let's ask Gareth your best tip for anybody wanting to take advantage of retail arbitrage.
For me, the why I still do retail arbitrage to this day is that you know, there's a lot of items out there. I came from a retail background. I used to work in one of the sort of big retail stores. Worked my way up into part of the management team. And what I found was that a lot of big retail stores that have internet sites, they like to put a lot of things at clearance. They'll go clearance online, just so you know everybody's doing OA will still be able to get into all that content as well. But then a lot of the big stores like to keep their websites clean. They like to keep it fresh to a certain extent. So, you know, they'll go clearance on the website, but then when they really want to get rid of everything and the bigger discounts tend to come, if they've got the retail stores, they'll tend to throw it back into the stores. And that's where, you know, you can find yourself some really great deals. Sometimes the deals that maybe potentially, you know, the guys that are only doing OA as an example, won't be able to get because they've gone back into the stores just to get those great deals. I also like the instant side of things of it as well. So, you know, if you need you've got a bit of a box to sort out, you want to get a shipment away. For me, it's always been a case of I've been quite comfortable in. We've got a lot of replenishment now, based from an RA perspective. So I'd say you kind of start to get an eye for it. As bad as it sounds, I probably should scan more still, like I used to do. But that's the way I started, and it's still very effective to this day. We had some of my best lines over this peak just gone for 2018 was still retail arbitrage lines. If you can get those great relationships, just like you get with a wholesaler with those store managers, then you can get some really good finds.
Oh God, I mean, for me personally, you guys know about me. I've not done any retail arbitrage since sort of 2015, and when I did do retail arbitrage, I had the same mindset. I was like, wow, there's some real good winners. Quick story for you guys. There was let me get this right. There was some Nerf guns that I was getting from Argos back in 2015 when I was first starting out, and these Nerf guns were like, I think I was getting them for about £18, but they were selling out in Germany for about 110 euros.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. Like the return on investment on them was like insane, to the point where I think me and Kaylee ended up like driving to like Lincoln, and like we drove around to the different stores just to pick up as much as we could.
Yeah.
I've still actually got pictures of that. But in terms of retail arbitrage, I totally agree with Gareth that there is still huge amounts of opportunity in retail arbitrage. And I know for me, like the more and more go on, the more I'm like, surely I need to just get somebody with a van, give somebody a prepaid card or something that can just go around all the stores, come back with a truckload of products, and then have some type of checking in system here at the warehouse where they're checking in product. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we did that to an extent, but from a replenishment side of things. So not so much with new at the moment, but there's people within, there's Jamie within the company now with us, and I trust him more than enough. He's been out on many retail arbitrage runs with me in the past, and I found that, I quite trust him to go out and find that content now as well. And I found that works well doing that, to be honest with you. Yeah.
And I would say one of the things, I don't know whether I've mentioned on the Reseller Show before, guys, you might have to tell me in the chat if I have, but I have a rapid growth strategy, like a rapid growth formula. And one of them is a reduce the inventory lead time on how quickly you can get it to Amazon. So if you think about it, doing retail arbitrage is one way that you can pretty much half your time, because you're not ordering today, waiting 3-4 days for it to be delivered, and then it comes to your warehouse. You can go pick it up straight away. It's like there and then. Yeah, it's like
Easter eggs, a prime example. It goes. You'll have something going off for instance, not long ago there was a supermarket selling for £2 as an example, which was the large eggs. I'm sure many of you know about that and found it as well. But it's for me, if you was in there at that shop that morning, you've instantly got those items. I use scan and go. Big tip there for going into a lot of the stores now. You just scan the items. You never really get too many questions asked when you go back. Just scan it, pop it through. But it's and like you just said there, instantly you've got them, and potentially you could even be shipping them off to Amazon the very same day.
You literally, if you did that on a Monday, you could be selling as early, like they'll be on Amazon later that week,
exactly.
which is incredible. But Sean says here, I do RA in Grantham. He's only down the road from us.
All right, yeah.
Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, Sean. Got some right bargains. Spent over £2,000 plus on my business last week in 7 days.
You sound very similar to me with that side of things.
Outstanding. Outstanding. What do you use to scan? Nitro Pricer? I've not heard of that one before.
No, to be 100% honest with you, I tend to just use the Amazon Seller Central app. I was using that, and then Camel. I used to log in. I had it up on a web page, and I used to be able to flip quite quickly just by copying and pasting the ASIN into Camel. And I would have checked some things that I wasn't quite sure about, and I wanted to do a bit more, or was something that was a bit more of a larger purchase. Then I would have done a few extra checks through that. But I know with the seller rank, it's not there at the moment. I don't believe so. But yeah, just the Seller Central app is what I tend to use personally.
That's good to know, because if you've got any recommendations in the chat, any tools, anything anything for retail arbitrage based, I personally I don't do retail arbitrage, so I won't be able to contribute there. But I use the Amazon app to scan the barcodes and see how much they sell for, and if they make me money. Question: what do you think to cash and carry? Is it worth it? Cash and carry.
Cash and carries. I'll pretty much look at most places. I have a select. I mean, to be 100% honest with you, the way I use retail arbitrage now within my company, I started with retail arbitrage, and that's how I grew the business originally, and then moved into OA and wholesale now as well. But for me, I can't let go of the RA side of things, because for me, if it's a string to your bow and it's still making you money and revenue, then I'm not releasing that string basically. So there's a couple of stores I go into. I've tried a couple of the cash and carries. Some can be good. To be honest with you, it's trial and error and finding those great stores to get into. To be honest with you, a lot of mine are the supermarkets. There's the places such as like the, I'll give you a tip, Home Bargains as an example. Anybody out there, I'm sure most of you use it, but they're a great one, to be honest with you. There's various different ones you can utilize, but after a while, I've got very good relationships with a lot of the store managers now, which has really helped me. They'll pretty much know who I am when I'm coming in now, or one of my guys that are going in instead, to be honest with you. So,
but I think that's a big thing, though, isn't it? I mean, I think that relationship, whenever you go into a store, if you know the people that are there, or if they know of you, it's going to give you a bit of an advantage, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know if people can look at you a bit funny, I guess, in retail arbitrage.
Yeah.
So if you've got access to that store manager and you build a bit of rapport, I mean, from an online arbitrage base, I know the manager of Tesco. Actually, I've got her on my phone. Simply because we were ordering so much, she contacted me and saying, look, don't place through the website and just call me direct and place it all that way. So if you can get to a point where you start to build rapport with people that either work there or the manager, I bet you've had scenarios where the manager said to you, oh, check this out.
Yeah, 100%. And it's, they'll also say if you get that good rapport, just like a wholesaler or anything else, if that particular store's okay with it, they've all got targets to meet. And I know this from experience of working in a retail environment. We've all got targets to meet. They all want to push those boundaries as well. They all have clearance to get rid of, and they're targeted on getting rid of those clearance items as well. So if you can get in there with the right guys, I think that's a really good thing to do. We probably do it once a week now, how we tend to do it, and we tend to have a big replen drive. Today was actually the day, to be quite honest with you, that we went out and did it, and sounds very similar to, was it Sean, yeah. So yeah, sounds very similar. We'll go out. We now have replenishable items, and that's a big part of now my retail arbitrage side of things. We've found a lot of the items already that we want to utilize, and just like with any type of stores, you get the seasonal items that come in and could go out. We really make the use of those as well now. So now I know when as soon as I see an item coming in, and for doing it over the last couple of years now, you know, I'll see certain items, I'll see it come in, and I'll be like, right, I know that's going to start going well. You get on that first, and you know, you get it in. There's some items I just cannot find anywhere else though as well. There's like some of the stores don't actually have, they'll have websites, but you can't, some stores you can't purchase online as an example. So those stores are good as well, because then, you know, you've got only those people that are going out and doing the retail arbitrage are potentially going to get those fines as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think I said it earlier on. I haven't done retail arbitrage for so long. However, there is still huge opportunity there. Yeah, huge opportunity there. And like I said, if you can get to a point where, and this is what happens, like for you guys that may be watching this and you're right at the beginning of your journey, and you retail arbitrage is a great way to get started, because you're up and out and physically at a store scanning stuff. And that's what's going to give you some practical experience on analyzing products, instead of like maybe like just getting started on online arbitrage where maybe you're just going page after page after page. Yeah. At least it's maybe a little bit more physically engaging. But like Gareth said all along, like, you know, there's definitely, there will be money that my business is leaving on the table simply because I'm not out there in the stores. And I won't personally be out there in the stores, but there's something keeps niggling at the back of my mind that I should get some type of, I need to find someone that's like, I don't know, 18 years old and just wants to go from store to store and then strike up some sort of deal that like pay per winner basis or something. Yeah, you know, just come up with something.
Options, isn't there? And you know, that isn't a way that you can automate that side of the business as well, I think. Yeah. And it's it's for me, I actually still enjoy that side of things. I have to admit, like you just mentioned about going online and all the rest of it side of things. I mean, I don't do it as much anymore myself, but I still like to still get out there, because that is the side of the business I still do enjoy. You know, going down a few aisles every now and then and just scanning. There's a particular store I cannot go in without doing it, because as much as I try, I want to go in there just from a purchase, a day off. You just want to walk down the shop and try and find some items, but because I know there's so many good stuff in there, I just cannot help myself from getting out of the app and having a quick scan to see, you know, if it's worth it or not.
Hey, Matt's in. Good to see you, Matt. Hope you're doing really well. Looking forward to Saturday. Again, like I said right at the beginning of the call, the OA Summit is this Saturday in Lincoln. If you haven't got your tickets yet, please do. Please do, because this Saturday is going to be a fantastic day. Like, regardless of all the speakers that are going to be there, just think of the relationships that you'll build with people that are just going on the same journey as you. And not to mention that you've got, you know, you in the same room for, I don't think it's ever happened before, you're going to have without trying to sound like big-headed or anything, but you're going to have a lot of really knowledgeable people all in the same room that have experienced it, that have got like some insights that can hopefully support you on your journey. So please do come on Saturday if you can. But Sean just mentioned there, if you order via the phone, you don't get online cashbacks. Correct, you don't. However, Sean, if you've got limits on websites, if, for example, you order from a website, let's say in my scenario, I know the Tesco manager, if I order, let's say, a 10 units, and then what may happen on the day, for whatever reason, if they're not on the shelf, they may deliver like 2 units. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Where they don't deliver everything that you want. Yeah. But if you go direct to the store and they put a separate order on, you can order 50 units and it will arrive. They'll get it for you. So you don't get the cash back, but your business is opened up so much more to more quantity, because you know it's guaranteed that you're going to get that. I hope that makes sense. With RA, would you know what products to scan? Say if you were in a toy shop, would you start with the clearance section, or do you just scan everything?
I think it depends where you are within your business, to be quite honest with you, and you know, in that context. But I would say now, if I enter a store, I've got an eye for a certain brand, certain products that I probably would tend to go to first. It wouldn't necessarily just be clearance, no, because I do think there's, you know, sale prices, things like that. And sometimes you'll find some real gems that are not actually in the clearance, and they're the ones that you want to find, because then not everybody else is just going to the clearance aisle to try and find those items. Then, but I definitely hit the clearance aisle, 100%. But to be 100% honest with you, pretty much most things, if you're just starting up, for me personally, retail arbitrage is one of the best ways to start learning your craft. And it's instant, like we've talked about. You know, when I was working in retail personally, it was a case that I was struggling for time. So I'd be working some, you know, really different shifts. For me, it was all about time, really. So I could just go out into a shop, maybe spend, you know, £200-300, come out, I've got those items, I could box them that night and have them shipped off the next day. But scan everything, to be 100% honest with you. Just try and, to begin with, just scan everything, absolutely everything. You know, you never know what you might be leaving behind. If anything, now I'm probably guilty of not scanning enough anymore.
Because you've done it so long.
Yeah, and you've got those replay. You're already going in there knowing. You know, you'll go to a certain shop now, and they're like, I already know the replenishable items that I'm after. But then every now and then, I'll have every other week, I tend to try and scan just new products, as much new products as I can, to try and find those, you know, that next new winner or that next new replenishable item.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think the best winners that you find are the ones that are not in the clearance. They're just normal price. Because you know they're just normal price, and you're never going to like run out of them. So I know if I had to recommend what to do to anybody starting off in retail arbitrage, I'd just say scan everything, because you naturally then get to a point. The same with online arbitrage. I've got to add, like when you get to a point when you get sourcing for yourself and you're just getting started in this business model, you do get to a point where you can open up a website and you can look at the different products and you start to pick out the products that are more likely to be winners. Did you find that as well?
What's that? Sorry, I was away.
Caught him off guard.
I was trying to catch up a little bit on the reading there. I apologise.
Yeah, I mean, the same applies, because you start getting an eye for it. It's just like anything. You start to learn. You start to see, this brand will most likely always be a winner. Yeah. Or that item is always a winner. Yes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's definitely, yes, 100%. There's definitely brands that I'll look for, even not just in our radar. I think that extends to OA as well. You know, if a particular brand's usually a winner in RA, then it's going to be usually a winner in OA, and vice versa. And you know, there's certain toys, brands, models, so on and so forth, that I'd always check, because they generally tend to be, you know, good buys, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. So that's 100%. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Did you get to the docs, Kev? I'm not. Oh, the docs. Oh, the doctors. Yeah.
When you got me out.
Yeah. So I do. I've had. Do you know what the brilliant thing is about being a part of this community? I've had so many people message me personally saying, "God, I've noticed that you've coughed like for God knows how long," and like I've noticed that I've coughed for God knows how long as well. And do you know what the crazy thing is? Like, first of all, that's like awesome. I really do appreciate it, and I know Matt messaged me earlier this week as well. And what I've come to discover is, I don't know whether I've shared this online yet, but last year I went to the doctors and they ended up sending me to the hospital to get a chest X-ray done, because like they can never be too careful and things. And fortunately, touch wood, everything was all right. But what I've been taking those last couple of weeks is actually some allergy tablets. And I actually think that I'm allergic to something, but I haven't worked out what it is yet.
Right. Okay.
I don't. Maybe it's these hoodies, because I've no idea. But I've been taking these allergy tablets and working out what is causing me to cough. And ever since I started taking these allergy tablets, I'm not coughing half as much. So now I'm trying to a process of elimination, trying to work out what's going on. So I'm like to Kylie, I'm like, how are you washing these clothes? Like, what's on this bed? I'm like, what's in the office? I'm even thinking potentially moving office into a different room of the house just to see what's happening. But I do appreciate that, Matt, and I appreciate everybody that messaged me. I really appreciate it.
That's a really good tip, actually, from Matt there as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Chris says, we've got a retailer who is now willing to talk to us to order in bulk. Well, that's a brilliant thing, Chris. It's a brilliant thing, because once you get to a point where you can build a rapport to when they reach out to you, that is definitely sort of next level arbitrage, really. Because at that point there, like in many ways, they become like it's like unlimited stock at that point, which is awesome.
That's good.
Looking forward to it. OA Summit's going to be unreal. The networking alone. Networking, you can't put a value, in my personal opinion, you cannot put a value in networking and masterminding in general. Like the amount of, it really doesn't matter whereabouts you are in your journey, whether you're just starting out, whether you're doing millions every year, it really doesn't matter. When you get into a group of people that are all doing the same thing, whether it's selling online, whether it's building business online, you always come away with something.
Yeah. Like
the amount of times I'm like literally having dinner with Gareth and I'm like, I'd never even thought of that. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just what happens. So it's the networking alone will definitely be worth it. Sean says, I'm looking at being VAT registered later this year. When you both reached VAT, did it hurt your business to start with? Any tips or advice you could give? VAT.
Oh. I don't think anybody likes that word, to be honest with you, or those 3 letters, should I say. For me personally, I think we sort of guided into VAT. When we hit VAT, we kind of guided into it quite nicely, to be quite honest with you. Didn't take too much of a hit on us at the very beginning, but you have to be careful. Biggest tip I can recommend to anybody out there is, keep putting that money away. It's very easy to have, from an Amazon perspective, the disbursements coming in, and you get carried away with yourself because you've not been having to really put anything away before you hit that VAT sort of standard. But yeah, take a certain percentage of your disbursements and just keep putting them away of that each and every disbursement. That's the best tip I could give you for when you get to that, and keep records of everything, because it's just going to make it so much easier for you as you go forward. To be quite honest.
So I mean, for me, there's a couple of things when it comes to VAT. First of all, if you do not manage VAT correctly, it will absolutely destroy your business. It really, really will. Just simply because VAT, I can't. We're only sharing our personal experience. So for the record, this is not tax advice and things. But personally, like for me, I would definitely recommend anybody that gets when they're leading up to that VAT threshold to start changing your. If you're using spreadsheets, I recommend spreadsheets. Like use your Google Sheets and what have you. Start actually including the VAT part of the calculations in terms of your spreadsheets. So before you even get there, you're already seeing the impact in your sourcing. You're already seeing the impact in what your minimums are, because all your minimums are going to change. What you were once, depending on what your minimum is, but if your minimum was 30% before VAT, check it after VAT, because your minimums change. So definitely do that. Like Gareth said, it's so important to manage your VAT. Get a system in terms of saving some money. Reduce VAT items. It's a key thing to learn as well. I learned the hard way by paying like nearly £10,000 more in VAT simply because my system for reduced VAT items was not to the point that I needed it to be. Simply because like my system at the time wasn't scalable to the point where I was like scaling with the operation. So I had like lots and lots of reduced VAT products that I didn't even know about selling, and then I was paying 20% VAT on stuff. So but nobody really teaches you how to. There's a lot to business that people don't actually teach you until you actually experience and get the bumps, the scars, the bruises. Exactly, yeah. So we now have a master spreadsheet, our reduced VAT master spreadsheet, which basically allows us, we track and we see all our 0% VAT items our 5% VAT items, and we have multiple systems in here. So we've got Kaylee here in the warehouse that checks everything in terms of the receipts, the VAT invoices, and then we go into our Seller Central account and change the tax codes to begin with, because everything's through Seller Central now. We also track all ASINs in our reduced VAT file, which basically allows us then to extract our sales, compare it to our reduced VAT items, and then we'll be able to compare what we've purchased to what we've sold. And we can actually then see to the pound now, to the pence, how much we've purchased and how much we've sold in the two different rates. So I cannot recommend highly enough that you've got to know that, because like if you get that wrong by 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, you're just paying more and more and more tax.
Yeah, losing profits.
You're just losing your money. So super, super important. And finally, no, I think that pretty much covers it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree. I think that the great thing about Kev being in the family is I've used this analogy a few times. Kev and Kylie have kind of been the snowplow in front of my business. So obviously they hit VAT before I did, and so on and so forth. So I've let them take the bumps, and I've just kind of kept in the smooth, to be quite honest with you. But it's every now and then there's a deviation. But I think that's been a real that was a real help to me at the beginning, because you come across some instances and we changed the sheets to, like you said, to adapt to for your minimum targets after that. Another tip that I'll probably use, I think, which you was maybe going to get to, but that was maybe the extra thing you was thinking of, was that then helps from a repricing point of view as well, because to begin with, it's very simple to forget. You've done all your calculations to accrue for all that VAT and 5% and so on and so forth. And most people will probably go ahead and do it anyway. But it also very easy then, if you're using those sheets, to work out to change your minimums then as well, because then all your minimums are different, because obviously you're 5% of VAT taken, 20% and VAT-free items as well. Because obviously if you don't change that on some items, you're not going to make that profit you was intending to make. So one thing I would add to you guys, check out my my YouTube channel. I'm going to have a video coming out this evening, which is basically the full demo of our brand new inventory management and performance overview sheet, and in there we basically are able to capture reduced VAT items, and then it will automatically highlight blue throughout all our records. So, and then every month that just snowballs into more items that we're finding, to the point now where we have hundreds upon hundreds of verified, and we've got all the documentation, reduced VAT items. And then in the future, let's say in the future we purchase it again, it's already there, it's already captured. So check out the full demos that are coming out on my channel right now. Getting lots of things done at once here. But yeah, I hope that helps, Sean. Let us know if does that help. Matt, RA secret: check UK hot deals first, and then create and plan of route to pick up the deals on way. I think I get what you mean there. Yeah. Check UK hot deals first, and then create a plan to go pick them all up on route. I think that was in reference to the RA obviously earlier. That's what another one I was reading earlier when you caught me out. But it's that's a great tip. The UK hot deals is that's a fantastic one, to be honest with you, Matt. I use that a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, like if I was going to go into RA now, and if I was going to think about, right, how am I going to tackle retail arbitrage, I would definitely look at the routes. I'd get the map. You know me by now. I'd have the team out here. There'd be a map on the floor, and we're like pinpointing UI turning up there. And then somehow I'd get a tracker on that person and find out, is he there or not? That's what I would do. But yeah, find my phone. Yeah, give me a call. I want a tracker on you. Right. Sean, Simon, I thought Matt was talking about docs, as in spreadsheets. I to be honest, when I first read it, I was thinking docs as well. I was thinking docs, documentation. But yeah, Sean says, I use UK hot deals. I get notifications of my favorite stores in Grantham, so I don't miss a deal. Haha. That is a great system that you've introduced.
Yeah.
And that's got to be one of the things that you've got to do throughout your entire operations. Come up with something that notifies you of different deals that occur. So one of the things that I mentioned in a video that I had come out last week about the 12 ultimate ways of sourcing is that the notification that comes in for like out of stock winners, for example, like anything that you source that's out of stock, for example, just set up a notification that comes in if that comes back into stock. Put a visual ping on the website. If that website area changes, it's going to notify you. So you might have hundreds, over time, you may get hundreds of items that are out of stock or for whatever reason you can't do anything with at that moment in time. But what we found is we set up a separate email address just for out of stock purposes, and now we're just getting like pinged every day, and it's just a potential to find another item. Yeah. It's certainly something that you should do. So good job there, Sean.
I think there's one you maybe just missed. Was it?
Did I miss?
When you check products.
Here we go. Yeah. Apologies, Sean. I missed it. When you check products to scan and they're not listed on Amazon, how likely are you to create your items yourself?
That kind of comes into what I would class as sort of like the golden gap concept that we've utilized in the past, to be quite honest with you. So if it's an item that's like, if there's other similar items that are doing quite well, then yes, there is sometimes that I will create, if it's like a brand new item or it's already an item, big branded name, then you can't find it on Amazon for whatever reason, then sometimes I will create my own listings for that. But generally, I tend to do a bit more research when it comes to creating my own listings that are not my own private label or so on and so forth, because like the Golden Gap.
I think when you start going down the road of creating your own listings, you are obviously increasing the risk of not selling, losing money, etc. The brilliant thing is about retail arbitrage, wholesale and online arbitrage is you're actually using data to show you what the likelihood of that has been in the past, the near past, to see whether the chance of that selling in the future. So that's why we have awesome tools out there, such as Keeper, that will show you what has happened in the immediate past to reduce that risk. And that's it just eliminates the guessing out of things. Now, when it comes to creating your own listings, I have created my own listings before in the past, and I'll give you a scenario when I've personally created a listing. So back in 2015, again, I found you'll have heard of Shopkins before. This was a Shopkins season 3 at the time. I think it's like season 7 or something now. It was a Shopkins season 3. It was a 20-pack season 3, and it was nowhere on Amazon. It was nowhere on Amazon. And everything Shopkins was bestseller. It probably still is now, to be honest. It was bestseller everywhere. The season 2s were bestsellers. The season 1s, all the different multi-pack, they were all bestsellers. And I knew it was an absolute guarantee. Like the chances of that not being successul is super slim, because I already had like multiple listings to compare it to. And that's what So I created that, and immediately I had 10 in stock to begin with. Immediately sold out. Literally within, when you get something that's in toys and games and it's anywhere near that, anywhere near the bestseller, like you are selling so much, it's ridiculous. Like it's actually quite like unbelievable. Like literally, I was just like, refresh on my phone and it would be like spike up, like sold out. Amazing. Anyway, I think I ended up actually I've got a picture that is floating about online somewhere where I did a screenshot of that exact listing because it went to #1 best release or something. And I sold loads before anybody else got hold of it. So that was a bit of a story there. But I would never recommend to do it because it's a completely different business model, really. Like Gareth just touched on the business model called like golden gaps. And the golden gaps is there's a bit more strategy behind that. Like you're actually getting information based on what you're creating. So you've got the likelihood of it selling.
Yes.
So like search terms, for example, let's say, for example, I'll just give you a quick example. Let's say people were searching for, I don't know, people were searching for black mug, right? You could see that because there's tools out there that will show you what the search term volumes are. If you could see that there's hundreds of thousands of people searching for black mug, and then you were able to get hold of black mugs and then test that and put it out there and then actually put a bit of PPC on to target black mugs, the chances are you're going to get sales. But you're going more towards private label. You're going towards it's
mean, just out scanning. If it was more in relation to just out scanning, or if you came across an item like that, then probably not. It'd be more of a, especially because of time when you're out scanning and everything else. It'd be more things that are doing well.
But that's not to say I did mention. It's a very advanced tactic. I mean, it is. You got to be at a point where
you understand.
Yeah, you understand. And you've got to be at a point where you've maybe got your bottleneck is not money.
Yeah.
You know, if your bottleneck is not cash, then you could put your money into products like that.
Yeah.
To increase and make that money go to work. But if your bottleneck is capital, or you've only got a certain amount, there's plenty of opportunity to go at without having to create listings.
Yeah, I think it's more of fun. Like the only times I would ever create something that wasn't a private label listing, it is more of a golden gap like aspect. It'd be something that's quite generic, that's doing well, like you mentioned the mug there as an example. So there might be a #1 bestseller mug out there, and then like you say, it's finding out what the best keywords was for that, and then going down that avenue. But it is like I say, it's more going a bit more advanced on that side of things. I probably wouldn't just create scan something, find something, and then just create it for the fun of it.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a quick story. I'm trying to find it simultaneously while I'm talking. So I created a listing. I created like a Golden Gaps listing a couple of years ago, and it was for charcoal face mask. And the title of that particular item was called charcoal face mask, because I knew people were actually searching for charcoal face mask.
Yeah.
So the item itself was called charcoal face mask, black charcoal face mask, a number of different keywords in the title, and got that selling, got it working. And within within 2 weeks, guess what seller jumped onto it? This guy.
Arbitrage, didn't I?
he was doing retail arbitrage, scanned it, pinged it, and it went straight on. I was literally just trying to find the listing that I could share with you guys in the chat. It might. You'll know. Yeah. So that's just another quick story there. But so that taught me, if you're going to create listings, create your own barcodes, so people can't find it.
That's easy.
Sean Sean did certain baby and food items are non-VAT registered. This will make up for being VAT registered. Yeah, you got to get those calculations right, definitely. Sam, good to see you, Sam. Already started watching your video demos, Kev. Top man. Put a ticket in for non-VAT. Yeah, we'll get those sheets out to you. Honestly, they're game changers. Really looking forward to seeing this. For me, those sheets, it's a great way for anybody to work on your operations and see from a bird's eye view what is going on. Because it's fascinating when you start to see the trends and especially if you've got teams. Like for these sheets are scalable to the point where if you're by yourself, everybody starts there and you're in the grind, you're working all the time. So it's going to give you some outside perspective, not like information on what your performance is. But if you've got a team, if you're external to things, if I'm sat in my office, I just can look at some graphs. I can see trends. I can see the performance of some virtual assistants. We can now intervene. Like, what's going on? What's going on with you, VA1? Like, what's happening with you, or we can then trend to see, oh, VA3 is doing really well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And what is she doing really well, or what is he doing really well? So game changers.
Definitely.
Do you use LinkedIn at all to connect to wholesalers? I believe is that Jonathan? I believe it is. Personally, not at this point, no. Simply because all the wholesalers that we've had contact with up at this point, I've met at wholesale trade shows pretty much. And then as soon as I've gotten wholesale trade shows, they're in my phone. And I've got like a contact, the area manager, I've got him personally on my phone. So do you use LinkedIn?
I use LinkedIn, but no, not so much to specify to get for a wholesaler contact as such. But I do use LinkedIn, but it's not so much for that. It's very similar to yourself. I use again being to the wholesale trade fairs and things like that to utilize basically.
Here's Luke. Look, Luke's joined us. Mr. Start, guys, glad to be here. Hey, Luke, looking forward to seeing you Saturday. It's been far too long. I met Luke down at Andy's conference in London last year. Yeah, so had a great night there. It was great. Really looking forward to Saturday. It's going to be fab. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing you, mate. Sean, Amazon doing free listings. Pay no fee if they sell and you add new items. Anyone seen this? It's encouraging me to look at brand new items. Some are coming. Yeah, I do. Like I said, I think it's another strategy that you can utilize. I mean, like I said, if money is not an issue for you, and if you're wanting to invest money, then there's nothing. For me, I'd always say you got to develop some type of criteria.
Yeah,
you've got to develop some type of criteria. If a product or if something that you're going to create matches this criteria, that criteria, and that criteria, and you've got some proven feedback that it works, then continue.
Yeah, I think it's a good, like if you're in a position within your business where you can afford to look out and branch out to look into new items. Yeah, I mean, 100%. It's as long as you confident in what you're doing with that to find the right way to build your listing, then yeah, fantastic. I think that's those listings can become great listings. I mean, I'm sure you've still got different listings, but there's still listings to this day that I've created in the past which are like non-private label, so to speak, and they're still very active for me within the business now. So yeah, definitely it's something to look at, but it's not, like Kev was saying, it's not something that I've gone into from the beginning. It's more something you look to invest into over time once you've built your knowledge. And if you're at that position, absolutely fantastic. That's something you want to have a try with. There's no harm in that. Just don't go too heavy into the stock.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, that's the excuse me. That's the one thing I would say about I guess people that get into private label. I've spoken to so many people that have contacted me and they've said stuff like, God, I started private label and I literally lost. Like I've had one that lost like $7,000. Like they put $7,000 into an item and it's just dead stop, just not doing anything, not selling, just really struggling with it. And like that's a disaster, isn't it? Yeah, and I personally, although like private label is the be all and end all, and everybody's like that's the holy grail and stuff. For anybody that's like getting started and anybody that's got like just wanting to get started in this, the best way to get started is something that's like proven. And online arbitrage, if you do your right analysis, if you take advantage of tools like Buybot Pro, for example, or Keeper, these tools are gonna give you the information you need to make an educated choice if you're going to buy that product or not. And unfortunately with private label, I just sort of see there's too much risk involved if you're just wanting to get started. So it's each to their own, obviously. Luke, did you forget about our call? I hope Luke don't forget about Saturday. And next on the stage, Luke. Luke? Where are you, Luke? Yeah, it should be great. No worries. I use Facebook groups that help me with deals. Saves me a lot of time. Do you mean analyzing deals, Sean? I used Facebook group that helped me with deals. Saves me a lot of time. Be interesting to know what you mean about that. Yeah. Well, I guess what's something else that we can talk? Let's learn a little bit more about you then, Gareth. Like, okay, so Gareth, if you guys don't know Gareth, I know we introduced him at the beginning of the video, but Gareth has got his own YouTube channel as well. He's actually, if you look in the link in the description below, there's going to be Gareth's Instagram page where I know Gareth's always sharing behind the scenes at his warehouse, and I know the other day it's been really good weather here. Yeah. So Gareth had his warehouse there, nice sunny, and had his shutter doors up and stuff. So if you want to check out Gareth on Instagram or his YouTube channel, there's going to be links in the description below. He's got some great content on there already, sharing different insights and different things that you may well be interested in terms of reselling online. So I guess, where's Gareth this year then? What's your goals and targets this year?
Well, we're still trying to build like every year. I think it's still trying to take it to that next level. We're up on last year, which is a fantastic place to be at this point, as well. But I think I am at that stage. I think where some of the people have been mentioned about creating listings and things like that. I have ventured in, dipping my toes into private label this year, so that's something that I've been quite on with. To be quite honest with you, and wholesale, we started at the back end of last year. So for me, this year it's really about pushing the wholesale. And really, getting my teeth into the private label brands that we've started now as well. We've launched a couple literally probably just about 2 weeks ago. So it's exciting times. It's one listing started to go quite well for us so far. So that's been a nice step into the water. It's nice to know when you start to get those sales come through, because you're always worried. But then it's nice to start to see the sales start to pop up, and to know that the research and what you've been looking into is paid off, really, to be honest with you. So that's one of the main focus points it has been. And now for me, a lot of the Amazon side of things has been sort of more automated now this year. I was just funnily talking about this before we went on live, basically. And, I'm looking much more into sort of getting into the brand now side of things, so it's a bit more behind the scenes side of things within the warehouse. Jamie, who's now been working with me for just over a year now. What's a year this month, actually? Is it? Yeah, wow. This month. So
time flies.
If you see this, Jamie, it's your birthday for being with us now. But it's he's been fantastic. He's been a great addition to the business. He came in very similar background to myself. I used to work with him actually at the retail store that I used to work at, and we was good friends. I ended up staying in touch with him, and he decided to come on board with us, and he came into the business, and now he's pretty much my right-hand man. Well, he is my right-hand man. So he deals with all the wholesalers now. So that's something that I don't really do anymore. I've not really had a massive input with the wholesale, to be 100% honest with you. I've gone along and I meet the wholesalers and things like that as well, but he's always been with me with anything like that. And I've tried to get it so that he's more of the face of that, because I'm trying to automate things in that context. So it's exciting times this year. This is that year where, it's that growth year, really, and trying to really push the boundaries of what we can achieve this year. Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure to see Gareth over the last couple of years grow and then get out into a warehouse and Jamie. So, I mean, it's fantastic. And the truth is, as you start to build your business, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. And at some point, you do need to start to bring people in for them to help you, ultimately. I know that's certainly what we've done this year. Just for myself, just getting Steve in alone is definitely, it's taken so much time away from me. It's been absolutely amazing, and it's really freed me up to literally work on what I want to work on, which is ultimately, because when you're building your business, there's a percentage of tasks that you try to avoid, that you don't do, that you just don't like, you know, the accounting side of it and all the rest of it. And you know, and the great thing is about Steve, he loves all that stuff. He absolutely loves this stuff. So it's been fantastic to be like, right, Steve, you're on with that, I'm on with this, and it's been great. And you're obviously experiencing the same. So
I think like you've just mentioned there, though, that's in a roundabout about doing it. What I've found is it's finding those right people that can supplement your business, and identifying sometimes, you know, your own weaknesses sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
And making sure that you can put the right person in place that can, you know, make up for those weaknesses in that context. So, and that's where you grow basically. And that's really helped me. I did a lot of, well, as you do, I know, you know, personal growth side of things. And I think that's really helped me out over the last year, where I've been into it, but not really taken action on it. So I've listened to the content. I've been to see Tony Robbins as an example, but it's then putting that action into, you know, the content into action, if that makes sense. And I think this last year just gone, that's what's been a big thing for me. And it's, that's made a huge difference, I think, to where I'm now perceived this year to go. Yeah. So yeah, very exciting times now.
Yeah. And I would add, any of you guys that are potentially going to UPW in 10 days from now, I think, is it on the 11th? I'm not entirely sure. I think it's 10 days from now on the 11th down in London. I'm going to be there. So if you guys are going, let me know. We'll go for a coffee when we get a chance, and we'll go for a bite to eat and stuff, which would be cool. So let me know. Really looking forward to it, actually. I've got a bit of an awesome April coming up, I'm not going to lie. Like, I've literally got the UK OA Summit this weekend. Then I've got Tony Robbins in London the next weekend. And then I've got Carl Pauline coming to the warehouse to spend a whole day with us. He's coming all the way from South Korea, which it's amazing. So amazing 3 months. So if you guys are not coming, if you guys are interested in coming to the warehouse personally, that's happening on the 20th of April, where you can, it's a completely free event. You can come spend some time with me and Carl Pauline. He's a YouTuber as well. He's heavy into, he's a productivity expert, basically. He does a lot of productivity. He's done work with Todoist and Evernote, and he's like David Allen. I don't know whether you've heard of David Allen, but on his podcast, he's just had David Allen himself, the author of Getting Things Done. So it's great. It's a great opportunity to pick Carl's brains, and it's going to be a great day. But Sean,
the question that you was asking him to.
There are groups on Facebook that share deals. Helps me buy low items and check myself to sell high for profit or not. Extreme couponing is a good group. Yeah. That's good. It's
interesting.
If you go into the if you got like a link to that group, Sean, if you go into the Facebook group, the Reseller Show Facebook group, drop a link in there for everybody to see. Like, that's a good group, and then people will join it if they're interested. Thanks for sharing that. That's a good one. Do you sell on eBay too? I assume that's for you.
No, not personally. No, I tried it a little bit at the beginning before I really knew about Amazon, to be quite honest with you. But I have to admit, it's something we have talked about. But I think the way I don't know a lot about the eBay sort of structure of doing it in that context, to be honest with you. So it's something that we are looking into, funnily enough. It's not been me looking into it, but it's. I think we're looking for an avenue to be able to sell things that are either, returns or something that's just not quite right or something like that. And I think that's more of the avenue where we were looking to utilize eBay. I mean, if you're experienced on eBay, I'd love to, learn more about that side of things, to be quite honest with you. I'm always up for learning anything like that, but not currently, but it is something we have been looking into, to be honest.
And if eBay hurry up and do a UK fulfillment centers, does that means competition for Amazon? Do you think Amazon will lower their FBA fee? I do believe that there's got to come a time where somebody, some business, whether that's eBay or whatever, they've got to. Somebody's got to compete with Amazon somewhere. They have to. They've got to. If I had the capital, I would definitely. Maybe the Reseller Show opens a fulfillment center. But I mean, somebody's got to compete with Amazon and eBay. Obviously, the size that they are. I don't actually know how big eBay are now, to be honest. Obviously, they're still massive, but in comparison to Amazon, once upon a time it was all eBay, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody was talking about Amazon. It was all like, you go into
I
eBay,
used to sell personal items through eBay, but like I've never really I've not looked into it from a business point of view. Like I said, we have been looking into it recently, but it's not been myself.
I just think that Amazon they obviously took them off guard or whatever when they launched the fulfillment by Amazon service, they completely changed and revolutionized the way that people could sell. Like instead of everybody eBay sellers selling from the home, now the ability to send it to somewhere who's the size of Amazon, they've got the capital, they've got the investment, they've got everything in place to get your product to the customer the very same day, pretty much. I mean, it's going to take some beating, and it's probably going to take some time for anybody to catch up. But that's never say never. I think we mentioned a couple of weeks ago on the Reseller Show that one of the things that may happen in the next 10 years, 20 years, there may come a time where you do like 3D printing. So when somebody places an order for a black mug, it now prints it in your home. And in that case, if you think about it, that may be an opportunity for some company to be completely new in that space. And then people would, if you think about it, I know for me, if I could, I know it sounds ridiculous now, but I'm telling you, in 20 years' time, I'll be able to watch back on this show and be like, God, yeah, you mentioned it. I'll do another Gary V, what he always does. If somebody came in and was the leader of 3D printing, how quickly would it be for people to divert from Amazon? Probably quickly. Like if we had the ability to order anything physical and it was there and then, as soon as you order it starts printing, it's ready for you, it would most likely eliminate the need for a fulfillment center to get it to you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know that technology. I'm probably Elon Musk has got it working in his shed or something. But let's get started on it. Nearly 800 positive feedbacks on my account since it started. Only 30 feedbacks on Amazon. Well, everyone's got to start somewhere, and like I said, I don't know much about eBay in terms of selling, but if you can there's lots of people being successful on eBay as well. I think it's just people
on eBay as well, but it's something I need to look into. Basically, it's another string, isn't it? At the end of the day,
it's another thing. But right, I think we're going over the hour mark. If you guys that are watching, if you could just do us a quick favor, please, and hit that thumbs up button. Any thumbs up buttons that we get on any of the videos, I really appreciate it. Thumbs up or thumbs down, it's completely up to you how you feel about the show. But any engagement, any support that you give the show, obviously myself and Andy, I really, really appreciate it. The Reseller Show was born out the idea of just bringing a community together of all like-minded people. So for the last couple of weeks, while Andy's been on holiday, to have Chris on from Arbitrage Superstars, it was a fantastic episode and a fantastic show last week. And then to have Gareth here, in person, slightly different because obviously he's not in a different location. We're just sat together, just to have a cup of coffee and sit with you guys. It's just another great week. So I want to thank you for coming on, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's pleasure to be on it, to be honest with you. I've seen the nice pictures that Andy was posting, so it's from South Africa. It looks fantastic.
Yeah. Well, Andy is scheduled back for next week, so it'd be great to catch up with Andy. Andy's going to be at the OA Summit on Saturday as well. I think he actually comes back. I believe it's the Friday night, and he's going from the airport directly to the OA Summit.
Oh, wow.
So very, very committed guy. So looking forward to seeing Andy back wherever you are. I hope you're having some nice walk strolls down that beach, and he's God, those Insta stories makes everybody jealous.
Great, didn't they? I was very jealous.
But yeah, as I say, guys, I really do appreciate you guys joining this Reseller Show episode with Gareth. I hope it's been worthwhile. We wish you a very, very happy and motivating week. Take massive action. April Q2 is here. Can you believe it? We're out of the storm. We've weathered the storm of Q1. Now it's spring, and we continue. So it's been a pleasure. Hope you have a great night, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. See you later.